So I started going on these dates, and I ended up having sex with a neo-Nazi.
What?
Okay. Yes.
So we run down, me and Carpark, into this bar and have a brandy just to calm, because I am literally thinking I am going to look such a twat going home with nothing.
He doesn't do anything. He doesn't write lyrics. He doesn't play. He doesn't do an instrument. He doesn't write anything at all. So all he's got to do is just stand around being good looking, yeah? And for some reason that pisses him off. And you know what? It pisses me off too.
And 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a... You're listening to the Exploded podcast, brought to you by three men who still don't know any better 30 years after the event. I'm Tim Southwell, co-founder of Loaded Magazine and author of Getting Away With It, the real inside story of Loaded. I'm joined as always by Loaded editors at large, Mr. Ben Marshall.
I've literally learnt nothing.
No,
so
you've
hello
nothing.
Anyway. Yeah.
And Bill Burrows.
Good day. And the reason why we're laughing is because this is the fourth take.
Yeah.
Sounds simple, but we'll leave it there. Leave it there.
Ben's been sabotaging his own podcast, basically. So this is 5 hours after we started this episode. But look, we're going to get through this thing.
Yes.
We can do it. Okay, so
plow through.
Let's have a look where we are. So things are moving apace. Radio and TV shows are asking us to go on and explain what all the fuss about Loaded is. And
again?
Yeah. And the magazine is about to embark on its first photo shoot with a bona fide supermodel, Elle MacPherson. This does not go smoothly. And so the subject of this episode, and I know we haven't had a subject before, we just did it, is getting in over your head for Loaded. So, Bill, when was the time you remember mostly getting in over your head?
Well, that's the whole point of Loaded, really, wasn't it? To get a commission or take a story to the magazine and get in over your head, and then deal with it and write about it. That's the whole thing. So over the years, many times, being chased by the state police with Hunter S. Thompson, trying to get over a state line.
Hunter S. Thompson, that's a good one. We're going to have a whole episode on that at one point.
That was a time and a half, and then the Camel Trophy, Central America for a month.
You got malaria, didn't you?
Malaria for that one, yeah. Interviewing Prince Naz, being dragged into a ring to fight him.
You didn't get dragged into a ring. You challenged him to a fight.
That was so stupid of you.
Yeah.
But he's only a little fella. I don't know if you ever seen him. He isn't anymore, but he was a little fella then.
But again, I think we're going to go into that in a lot more detail because that's about 2 issues hence.
Yeah. So Michael Madsen is basically the upshot of it. And I can date this precisely because it was the time when Saddam Hussein was found in a hole. I think he's famously only found in a hole once. And
well, not according to Ben earlier, but anyway, let's not get into that. No, he's
so the outtakes are amazing.
So anyway, so in this whole, so I'm turned up to interview Michael Madsen. He's done the fashion shoot for a magazine, and the thing is, when you're doing a fashion shoot, I've nudged the microphone as well.
Saddam Hussein did a fashion shoot for Loaded.
Saddam Hussein did a fashion shoot with Michael Madsen for Loaded.
I had no idea. It must have been Alpha.
He's a very, very good looking man, Saddam Hussein, or was before he was found in a hole.
Bit of the magnums about him. Anyway, forget that. So I'm interviewing Michael Madsen.
Nobody tells me shit. You can torture me all you want.
Torture you? That's a good idea. I like that one. Yeah.
He's doing the fashion shoot. And the way it works is the fashion shoot's done first, and then the interview happens afterwards. Well, I turn up to do the interview, and there's something wrong. So, fashion assistant in a corner, distressed. The fashion editor's pulling her hair out, and the photographer's sobbing. So I said, "Everything okay?" No, he's rat-arsed. I said, "What do you mean rat-arsed? How rat-arsed?" He said, "You've been drinking tequila." A couple of tequilas, but it's afternoon. Then no. A bottle. Okay, so the bottle's tequila.
It's a lot, isn't it?
It is a lot.
It's quite a lot.
No matter how big you are, and he's a large man.
Yeah.
And he's dressed as a reservoir dog. When he comes round the corner wanting to be taken to a boozer in East London, one of your famous London boozers.
I love the fact that he used the term boozer.
Yeah, disconcerted. He can say what he wants, Mr. Blonde.
Of course he can.
Torture me, good idea. I like that.
Yeah.
So, okay, we'll take you to a boozer. And that was the plan. So we left the fashion shoot with chaos behind us. And walking down the street in East London at about 5 o'clock, end of work, rush hour time. was quite experienced. He was, like I say, dressed as Mr. Blonde, and people were clocking him and all the rest of it. He went to this boozer.
Highly recognisable person at that point.
Yeah, of course. If you saw that, you'd probably think, God, he looks just like Michael Madsen. He must be going to a fancy dress party. He really made the effort. I mean, he looks so like him, incredible. And he still had his makeup on from the photo shoot, which is relevant because we sat down at a table in the corner, and I said, "Do you want a drink?" Stupid question. Tequila? He went, yes. The bottle? He went, yes. Got him a bottle of tequila. I had a couple of shots myself. And I was just making small talk, really. And I said, well, that's crazy, wasn't it? Brandy and Sad were saying that hole. He said, what? I said, Sad was saying he found him in that hole. Biggest story in the world. And he said, I didn't know about this. I was flying over. He'd missed the news. He'd flown over and been jet lagged. I said, well, you've missed the news that one of your co-stars has died as well. He went, who? Oh, Jesus, what? Who is it? I said, it's Keiko, the whale from Free Willy 2. Which he was in Free Willy 2. And he started crying. But he had a lot of tequila at this point.
Was it true? You weren't just winding him up?
No, you wouldn't do that, would you?
You
wouldn't joke about a dead whale.
That's sick, man.
That's
really sick.
So he paused and he starts
Stop laughing.
And the makeup running down his face from the shoot.
No.
And now people are coming in thinking, God, that guy looks like Michael Madsen.
And what have you done to upset him?
Told him that Keiko's died. He was really moved.
I bet he was.
So
also, he had, to be fair, was completely off his fucking tits.
Surely Keiko had a double, didn't he? Surely it wasn't the same whale.
No, it was a stunt whale, was it? It was an actual whale. There's only one whale. Well, we're losing the point here. So he's crying and he's getting more morose. So we do the interview, blah, blah, blah. Good interview, increasingly incoherent, fine. So next day, I get a phone call from the editor. He goes, how did the interview go? I said, well, why? He said, and how did you leave Michael Madsen? I said, left him in the pub. Why?
With a whale toy.
With a whale toy. He said, what do you mean? He said, well, I left him in the pub. He said, you didn't put him in a taxi. I went, well, he's a grown man, he can get his own taxi. Why? He said, well, I've just been to do my Christmas shopping and my card's maxed out. Oh, what do you mean your card's maxed out? He said, well, I had to put the hotel room on my personal card because we couldn't get the finance guy at the time. So I put it on there. I said, and? He said, and when you left him, he checked out of that hotel we'd put him in, checked into the best suite at the Savoy, hired a chauffeur, and spent the whole weekend driving around London at my expense. My card's now maxed.
God bless him.
So you putting that on me? No. Well, you left him. I'm not in charge of him. So it's a good interview anyway. He put the phone down on me. But the coda to that was a year later, he was on the Beats, this editor, and he had a phone call from the Savoy. And it was Michael Madsen's wife who was phoning in absolutely furious because he was still barred. And when he was
barred from the Savoy.
Yeah, and God only knows what he'd done. But
it's quite hard to get barred from the Savoy.
Yeah, they're quite tolerant, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. Yeah, well, proper latitude.
Well, he was pissed. And then, so she wanted to know why he was barred, and they said, you better talk to it with the editor, who explained.
Yes, good God.
Yeah.
That is over your head.
He is a bit.
He was over his head as well.
He was off his head.
So, Ben, when did you get over your head? I know everyone did lots of times, but give me an example.
Quite a lot. I mean, I'm not going to be able to beat that, am I? I mean,
no,
come on. Yeah,
that's pretty.
That's like
That's pretty hefty.
What you do is you put on the support band first. You don't put on the main act.
You're the favourite. Whether you say
I don't know. I think there's a good name coming in here.
Obviously, all the Dice Man stuff, which basically involved me throwing a dice and do whatever the dice told me to do.
Yeah, which we will get into in huge.
We will get into later. Yeah, but I think the first sort of thing where I felt genuinely uncomfortable and discomforted was when I did what was then known as digital dating, which was I realised that if you opened like local news sheets, right? So the Friday Ad, the Argus, whatever it was. I just moved down here from South London. So I moved down to Brighton. Sorry, we're in Brighton, just in case viewers can't see the pavilion, which is just over there. Is it over there?
I can't see it.
I'm very confused. I moved down and I thought, digital dating. I just literally split up with this girl. I thought I may as well write about my dating. So I got, what you would do is you would ring up a phone number, which was a kind of general number, and you would have a little... No, it was. No, don't just... How dare you, sir? No. It was the number of whatever the newspaper was, right? and then you would then leave a message describing yourself.
Oh, go on. This is
right?
good. Go on.
Right.
Oh,
So
good
I
job.
left a message describing myself.
You look like a young Harrison Ford.
You know, look, I said I was tall because basically I'm not short. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a gnome.
No, you're not lying.
That's a pregnant pause.
You're not lying yet. Go on.
I said, obviously at the time I was very ginger, but I said I was strawberry blonde, which is code for ginger.
I think you have to say that, don't you?
You do, because otherwise, basically, they just set the police on you.
They do, yes.
Yeah.
They don't like it.
And I said all this stuff, right? And I was surprised actually. I got quite a lot of responses. So I started going on these dates, and I ended up having sex with a neo-Nazi.
Okay.
Yes.
But when did you find out that this person was a neo-Nazi?
Because every fucking thing she said would have raised a disapproving eyebrow at a BNP's AGM.
Really?
That's really it. Yeah, literally everything.
But
And I
she
think
liked
no,
the
and I look, I at the time,
Blonde
I
hair,
justified
blue
it. I justified it. Definitely. I justified it to myself as right. I'm striking a blow for anti-fascism by being really terrible in bed.
Okay. So, yeah, your Aryan features obviously
They did help.
got her pulses going.
They did, yeah. But then a series of other terrible dates, which I then wrote about for you guys.
At
Yeah.
that point, it wasn't so much
I
white. as
humiliated
transparent.
myself. But what I did realise about this kind of crazy world, and hopefully we shall talk about this later on in this episode.
What, your
right?
sex life?
Well, generally digital dating, but
Okay.
obviously my experiences.
That sounds like one for Planet of the Vapes.
That is one for Planet of the Vapes.
Yeah.
We shall get into that later.
100%.
Later. But so obviously I didn't get. I did. By the way, I have got drunk with famous people. Just I haven't actually got them arrested or booted out the Savoy.
Yeah, that's not getting in
I've
over
not
your
had
head.
sex with any neo-Nazis, I don't think.
No, I haven't either.
Haven't
Not-
you?
not as far as I know.
Bully for you two.
Yes, normally old-fashioned. So I'm going to come to my getting in over my head, which happened for the third issue of Loaded, and that was when we got the chance to do a photo shoot with Elle MacPherson. Now, to get this sort of thing done, you need a big, fancy fashion photographer, right? None of which we had on our Rolodex, which we did have time Rolodexes, which was a thing in the past.
Different
basically.
times.
Different times. I had to talk to my friend at Detour magazine, which is a really fancy Los Angeles, up its own self, fashion-y magazine, right? And
I
I
worked
just
for
know
them.
this guy Lewis. I think Lewis, his name was, Venezuelan guy, and he'd helped us out with Gary Oldman as well in the first issue. So he arranged to get us a photo shoot with Elle MacPherson.
That's a no-brainer, right?
And Elle MacPherson at the time, and still, is just an absolute icon, So we felt like, oh my God, we're going from a load of berks in a little room in an office in Stamford Street in Waterloo, and I then got tasked with going to New York to oversee this
And
shoot.
just to kind of like put this in the context of the times, right? This was the dawn of the supermodel. Before that, you'd had models. You had lots of, and you'd had some famous models. Twiggy back in the '60s. You'd had a few of them, right?
Gene Shrimpton.
Yeah, Gene Shrimpton, right? But all of a sudden, there were a series. There was Elle MacPherson, there was Kate Moss, there was
Cindy Crawford.
Cindy
Naomi
Crawford,
Campbell.
Naomi
Yeah.
Campbell, right?
Yeah.
And they were like and this was happening at exactly the same time that Loaded was coming up.
Yeah.
So these were big stories. So getting somebody like her was like getting royalty.
But not only that, the previous issue had Leslie Nielsen. We bought in the photos. Which,
Yes.
if you're not in the business, means you pay a lot less. You just get the right to use the photo. Where if you show the cover that
Yes, so this is what the photo shoot ended up with. But getting there was a completely different story, and one which I still wake up in the middle of the night haunted by and in a cold sweat. So this guy Lewis at Detour was organising it all for us, right? So I was tasked with going over that. I went with Carpark, who does our curious corner of captivating quotations, right?
Yeah.
He
Say
was
that
very
again.
much, no, I'm not going to try. I got it right the
You
first
did, you
time.
did,
Thank
you
you. And Carpark was living in New York, so I went and stayed with him, and I thought I'd take him with me as moral support, because ultimately this was another world. The photographers called Tiziano Magni, they rejected all our photographers. They wouldn't go anywhere near any of our hoi polloi. So there had to be this photographer. I guess she wanted to work with him anyway, and this was a way of that happening. So we go over to New York and we turn up at the offices of Tiziano Magni, and he's got this kind of PA person who is American. Let me just say that, and efficient and disregarding of anyone that is not famous. Me and Carpark, right? So I turned up in my best Kenzo jacket that I borrowed from somebody, thinking that might make me slightly more fashiony and
You were mad, weren't you?
fitting.
Stolen from the fashion company.
Absolutely
But
bonkers.
it didn't quite fit either. It was slightly too small. So when we got to the studio, I was sitting there like wriggling around like an idiot, trying to, look cool, or not cool, but just part of it. Because basically, I knew that this was a world where I'm not. This is not me. This is high fashion, and this is New York City, and I love New York City so much, but there's an area and there's a sort of like a league table, and I'm not in the top bit. This was in either the top bit or the one just next to it, and I'm at least 5-6 rungs below it. Anyway, so we get there.
You need to know Jeffrey Epstein to be in the top bit.
I think you probably do, yeah. So I get there, and we and then Elle turns up. So I've already chatted.
Elle,
to
as you know her.
Elle MacPherson.
Yeah, Elle.
Yes. And that's my big thing. I'm thrilled I'm going to meet this person,
Well, that's
right?
fair.
And a bit scared because if she's not very nice, you just feel like such a twat, wouldn't you? And realize who you are. You know you're in over your head, but please don't confirm it immediately. If the person, the subject, the talent treats you like a Burke. Anyway, she didn't at all. She was lovely, and the guy, the photographer, was really lovely. Everything was going so well. I'm literally swanning around this photo studio prior to the thing starting, and I actually start to feel like I'm part of it. That I'm getting away with this. I'm actually. She thinks it's all right. I've showed her the first 2 copies of Loaded, right? And we've gone through them, and she's laughing at certain things. She's Australian. She's got a good sense of humour. She's laughing at oh my God, we're in. Carpark's looking at me. He's all excited, like going like, oh my God, this is brilliant. Elle MacPherson shoot. This is good. We don't look like idiots, right? And then the phone rings, and I have to go over to the phone, and it's the guy that set the shoot up, Lewis. And he goes, "Where's my fucking money?" I'm like, "Oh, hi, Lewis. How's it going?" Because everybody can see me, right, from literally like 5 yards away, so I can't look concerned. "Oh, hi, Lewis. How's it going?" Yeah. And then he starts virtually frothing at the mouth, going, "Where's my money? I'm going to pull the shoot. I'm pulling the shoot. This shoot is never happening. I'm pulling it. I'm going to speak to Tiziano Magni right now, and it's over, right?" Which is about as humiliating a thing as prospect as you can think. So I'm like, "Oh, yeah, so yeah, everything's fine, Lewis. Yeah, everything's really good. Yeah, we're just having a bit of lunch and blah blah. Oh, you having a cottage cheese sandwich? Yeah, that sounds great, Lewis. Yeah. Oh, the sun. I don't know. I've not really looked out the window. Just trying to play it, and literally,
How much money are we talking?
it's a couple of grand.
Like, not like 25.
It's not.
30
No.
grand.
It's a couple of grand. But he hasn't been paid
Yeah.
as he was told.
Okay.
So back in the office in London, right? I'm phoning up New York. It was, so we were lucky because
Yeah.
it wasn't.
There was a window,
West
but not a
Coast.
massive- yeah.
It wasn't West Coast, so we could, So I'm phoning back at the office and trying to just in a really quiet way get this sorted out, and getting nowhere. Can't find anybody. And this guy Lewis is he's so angry. I mean, I've not heard anyone being. He feels as if he's been absolutely having his trousers pulled down. It's his relationship with Tiziano Magni, the photographer.
Yeah. There's a lot
Without
riding
him,
on it, yeah.
without him, he pulls this. That's it. And I come back without anything to London, to back to the office, right? Which, as we all know, and this is why we had that term, getting on the elephant.
Yeah.
If you don't get on the elephant, prefer, whether that's a real elephant or the metaphorical one, you haven't got the story. And if you come back without the story, you're a waste of space. It's horrible, right? So I'm absolutely panic stricken. But Lewis is furious. And I said to Carpark, look, I take him aside, say, look, we've got to get out of here for 5 minutes. So we run downstairs and we run to the nearest bar where there's a phone box, and I have to have a big shot of.
Because this, ladies
Brandy.
and gentlemen, is the days before mobile phones.
Yeah.
Or not the days before mobile phones, but when mobile phones were so ludicrously expensive to use, and they were about the size of that.
Yeah. Plus, even if I had a mobile phone, I would not have that conversation in front of Elle MacPherson and the photographer, because it's
What's she doing at this point? Is she getting ready best for the shoot?
she sat around in car parks making a laugh, talking about some nonsense.
Was she wearing the outfit on the front cover? Or
No, she's no. The shoot hasn't started yet, so she ends up like this. So obviously, there's a happy ending,
Spoiler
right?
alert,
Yeah, but
It's like the opposite of Titanic.
so we run down, me and Carpark, into this bar and have a brandy just to calm, because I am literally thinking I am going to look such a twat going home with nothing, through no fault of my own either whatsoever. That doesn't matter. You're the one that's coming back with nothing, right? Anyway, so I'm on then I can have the proper conversation with Lewis on the phone from Detour, and I literally am begging him. I'm almost in tears. I'm that upset about it. I'm begging him, please, I will make this right. I'll make this right. You'll get your money. And he's just going, no, where's my money? He got a bit gangster on it, and a bit ridiculous. And in the end, he didn't receive any money in the next sort of hour and a half.
You've got a time on it.
You've got a window of 2-3 hours max. We're already an hour and a bit in, right? And that, when no one's even looked at any clothes or anything like that, and that takes a while, blah blah blah. And no, the green light has not been given to this, and we're running out of time, and it's just absolutely humiliating. It's really humiliating. So I begged him, and I can't quite remember how it ended up, because I didn't give him any money out of my own account. I didn't have any money, but absolutely just managed to talk him down from the ledge and say, look, he would let it go happen but he wouldn't give us the photographs.
Right, okay.
You do the shoot.
So he's got all the cards.
Do the shoot. He didn't want to embarrass himself in front of the photographer or Elle MacPherson either, right? Because you don't want to be the guy that pulls the shoot, right? Yeah. Even if it wasn't his responsibility, which it would have been. But anyway, so this goes on, and he agrees. Okay, but you will not get the photographs until I say so, until I get my money. So we go back upstairs, me and Carpark, and by this stage I'm exhausted. I am literally a shell of myself. An hour before I was literally walking around like in Mackenzo jacket going, this is so good. I'm in New York with Elle MacPherson and doing this photo shoot, and it's, oh my God, this is such an amazing thing, right? And I went back up, and I was so deflated and so kind of internally upset. I couldn't really say much. I then went over to Elle MacPherson, and we knew what the clothes were going to be because we'd already sorted it all out. And I left them to it.
Did you not interview her?
Yes, I did. Yeah,
afterwards.
Yeah, it must have been afterwards. I can't quite remember, but it must have been afterwards.
On that day, then?
No, maybe it was. I don't know. Put it this way: I was so traumatized. I don't know what happened or when, because it was just mental, and I was just, you were on the borderline of being in over your head in a massive way.
But you pulled it off. It's all about.
But pulled it off. But even the delivery of the photographs were waiting on a flight from JFK once he'd been paid. This took ages. This took like days and days and probably a week or whatever. And we got them within seconds. And Steve Reed, when he comes on as the art director in a couple of shows' time, will tell you about this. Me and him went down to the post room, and the photographs were there, right? And it was literally within minutes, an hour or two max of it not being available to put on the cover. Yeah. It's a cover shoot. Yeah. And the post boys were all there, and me and Steve get the pictures out, and it's like, oh my God, it's that. And it's, this is some pretty good stuff. We got some mad stuff. It's like kind of arty, kind of, high end, sexy stuff. And the post boys were all going, oh my God, you got to meet Elle MacPherson. That's so cool.
Were you like, yeah, it was a dog?
I was like, I think I just started crying slightly. And then Steve was like, these are brilliant, right? Then I went back upstairs with Steve, and James was the editor, and he'd been pretty much at least partly responsible for them not getting paid on time, right? Just said, these pictures are rubbish. And I was like, I just sat down and just thought, oh my God, and that was my kind of terrible over my head.
Well, he was wrong.
Well, he was wrong, and it was absolutely brilliant. And I think that put us on the map in a way.
Look at but if it's a magazine that's found its way. It's bold, it's confident, it's different looking, which is Loaded's signature.
Yeah, it was a long story to get there. I'm sorry it took so long.
It's all right. In part 7.
In part 25. Okay, boys, next feature is Sell Me the Cover. So you've got to pitch a cover story for May 2026. So what would you put on the cover now that is not Elle MacPherson
Or Scott, the fella that you mentioned before.
or Scott?
Scott
George
Galloway.
Galloway. Yeah.
It's Scott Galloway, you bastards. I would put on Danny Dyer.
Okay. Explain.
Okay, well, I think he's really made some great movies of late. I think he's incredibly talented at turning his hand to anything. I think he probably would have read Loaded. I think he probably did read Loaded at the time, actually. And I also think, from all accounts, I've never actually met the chap, but I have met his collaborator Nick Love on a number of occasions, and by all accounts, he's just a very, very nice guy. So I'd put him on the cover. I think this caravan thing he's doing at the moment with his daughter, which is kind of like a much kind of more interesting version, if you like, of a sort of a, it's like Clarkson's Farm, but but it hasn't got a fat wanker
Dyer's
without the
Caravan
twats.
Park. Yeah, I'm intrigued by that show.
Yeah, it's actually very
I haven't
good.
watched it, but I'm intrigued by
But
it.
it's him and
His
I
daughter.
I also like the fact that his daughter's called Danny.
Yeah.
His wife might be called Danny as well. I'm not too sure.
No, Steve.
Is she called Stevie?
Yeah.
Steve Dyer. Yeah.
Steve.
You know, Neville going.
This is just staggering. This is all news to me. Anyway, look, I think I'll put Danny Dyer on the cover. That's all.
Okay,
I'll
it's
put on the
brilliant.
cover.
So, Bill.
Or Scott Galloway.
No, stop it now. Bill, who would you go for?
One of two, if he's having two. Either Joe Marler.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
because interesting breakthrough star,
Mm.
but also from the rugby union background, which doesn't tend to yield that many interesting characters. Although that's sad. I'm thinking we did have what's his name on the cover. We should have a bell for old people can't remember the names. Princess Diana's boyfriend.
Will Carling?
Will Carling.
Yes.
Yeah. So Joe Marler, who had the breakthrough in Traitors, or Jimmy Carr, who fascinates me.
Right. Does he really?
Yeah, because he's got a bit of a history, hasn't he? He's been a bit naughty.
He just wrote that film, didn't he? It was like a Downton Abbey spoof, like Downton Abbey meets Airplane. Farkham Hall.
Yeah. I think
Fuck
he's
'em all.
a talented guy.
Which is actually not a bad film. I
haven't watched it
The thing
yet.
I don't like about
Jimmy.
Jimmy
You don't have to
Carr-
like him to put him on the front.
No, of course you don't. No, I just don't like the fact that he looks like a fucking puppet.
He did well. He just like a ventriloquist tummy.
Fuck puffin.
He looks like he
No,
looks
no.
like a fucking fuck puppet.
No, he didn't. I think he's interesting because he's got a bit of past. He's a talented bloke. And the other one, if I'm going to have three, I'd put Joe Rogan on the front as well. Not at the same time.
But you can't do two. You've got to do one. So I have to choose
So
between.
he's had three
I
now.
have to
He's
have
had
three because you're going to
fucking
choose him
three.
anyway.
No, that's not necessarily the case.
It definitely.
Okay, so who are
It is
you
now.
saying? You can't keep saying George Galloway.
No, I've never said George Galloway once. I want it's kind of completely clear. It's Scott Galloway. One's American, the other one's appalling. Right?
Yeah, okay.
Which is which? No,
So
go on.
who are you going
Scott's my hero.
Okay. I am going for Joe Marler.
for? Okay, Joe Marler. That's interesting. And
I'm going for Danny Dyer.
Danny Dyer.
I already
Okay,
know-
I'm
already
going to
know.
go for Joe Marler.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
think.
for fuck's sake.
Yeah. Because I think I know Danny Dyer wrote a terrible thing
It's to
in
prove.
Zoo, in
It's to
Zoo
prove.
magazine.
It's to prove that I'm not your favourite. But
well,
secretly,
I
we
know, I know what he's doing.
I'm trying to explain here. Right? So I know that Danny Dyer wrote a terrible article in Zoo magazine in the sort of mid 2010s or whatever.
He can't hang that round his neck. He was about 12.
Well,
No,
he
he's
wasn't.
He's
though,
more
was he?
my generation than yours.
Yeah. Yeah. Cheers. Anyway, but that was about cutting your girlfriend if your boyfriend found out you were cheating on him. So
That is poor.
and Barbara and Loaded got blamed for it. This is the Loaded culture. Blah blah blah. Even then, like 2014 or 15, Barbara Ellen, thank God bless her, she wrote an impassioned piece for the Observer saying, "You've got this wrong.
God bless Barbara.
This is not Loaded as we knew it.
a
It's-
wonderful
this is something
journalist and a
else."
wonderful
Yeah.
woman.
So that was lovely by her. And now, thank God, it's time for this.
Hello there. I'm Carpark. Yes, that's right. Welcome to Carpark's curious corner of captivating quotations. I shall read excerpts from Getting Away With It, the real inside story of Loaded, by Tim Southwell. Are you sitting comfortably? Then I shall begin. Who said this? During my job interview, I was asked what I would do if on a Friday, on the last day of production, when everything was in turmoil and there was music blaring out and all nature of shit going down, there was a pig loose in the office. After answering that I would call the pig catcher or something, I can remember thinking, God, this sounds right up my street.
Okay, boys, who said that?
That was Gaynor Clark.
Oh,
Was it Gaynor Clark?
oh shit! Came up.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it could only be Gaynor, couldn't it?
yeah,
But fair question to ask at an interview, because that literally could happen.
yes. And so, your recollections of Gaynor, guys?
Really lovely woman.
Saint.
Yeah, a
A really, really lovely woman
Patient.
who clearly knew how to deal with pigs.
Yeah.
Well, she had an office full of them.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So interestingly, that kind of leads us on to the loaded office itself. Can you give me your first impressions of, like, Ben, your first impressions of the loaded office? Because obviously you'd worked in.
I've worked so just to give you an idea of what it was set up was like. There was a IPC Kings Reach Tower, which was a brutalist building designed by Richard Seifert.
That's
monolithic.
twice he's done that.
Yeah.
I know. I'll mention this.
I don't mind.
And next door to that, across the street, very important. There was the low-rise building, and we were in the low-rise. And the reason it was so important was because the suits never bothered going to the low-rise. It gave you that physical distance, which was not much. It was 150 meters or something, maybe that, maybe less. Less. And it gave you a spectacular amount of independence. They just didn't bother with you. They sort of almost forgot you existed. First time I went in, I was kind of astonished because, all right, everyone smoked in offices. Everyone drank in offices. That was normal. But I was stunned because essentially the carpet looked like one massive cigarette burn, but somebody had soaked in lager.
Yeah,
exactly what
that
that
was the distressed look is what we were going for.
Yeah, and
You'll see that in elder
one
creation.
of the weirdest things was that there was, I think you must have just had a delivery of them or something, but there was like
Hang on,
floor
careful.
to ceiling, there were just like thousands of packets of heartburn pills going all the way from the floor to the ceiling. Right? I mean, like literally like 20 years worth of heartburn pills. Because obviously we were always on the brandy, so you know, your ticker starts.
Could never drink brandy personally. It
Well,
was
You
just,
said you had some in New York.
well, that was medicinal.
Oh, I see.
Clearly, that was to jumpstart my.
Ticker.
So that was
Trousers.
my first memory, and also obviously the vibrancy. But there was a genuine sense that this was
It was messy, wasn't it?
very, very messy
It's
and
very
very
messy.
anarchic. Can I tell you a story about John Link quickly?
Yes.
Right.
John Link was the
John Link was one of the designers.
assistant
Right.
creative director.
So what
yeah.
used to, there was a deck. There were partitions between each part of the office. So you'd get the designer's partition. On the other side, you had basically the writers, and on one side you
It was
had the
open
kind of-
plan.
the production team.
So you could
So you could kind of.
There was a
I think the
stand-up
partitions were
open
about
plan.
6.5 foot tall, weren't they? Yeah. And a couple of the sub editors started chucking peanuts over the partition. They were hitting.
And can we just point out that sub editors are the ones in charge? They're the one that makes it all
Yeah,
work.
they're the ones that
They're the ones that make.
yeah.
You don't spell phenomenon.
Or
Yeah,
say
they.
it,
Yeah,
Or even
or
say it
indeed
wrong.
exculpatory. By the
Yes.
way. So they're throwing peanuts across this partition. They keep landing on John Link's head.
That's not a good idea.
No, it's a really bad idea because the man, can be quite ferocious when he wants to. be.
Unusually ferocious.
Unusually ferocious,
Yeah.
right? So he walks over this is about after 10 minutes of the peanuts landing on his head, yeah. Picks up this fucking great potted palm, yeah. I mean, it's enormous, this bloody thing. It was like a yucca or something, and literally lobs it over the partition, right?
Did he chuck a yucca?
He chucked the yucca. He chucked the yucca. It went bang, hit all the computers that immediately all fused. Loads of lights went out and everything else. Then just sat back down and started getting on with shit.
When John comes on, and this guy is one half of modern toss, and you wouldn't think of it to look at him. Fantastic bloke. He was having a row with. He wasn't a contentious person necessarily. He was having a row with a writer, Phil Robinson.
Yes.
And they're having a shouting match, and then Phil went to the loo, so John set his computer on fire
Yeah.
in the office.
I seem to remember quite a lot of fires.
There was a lot of fire, but then
There were a lot of
when
fires.
Phil came out of the toilet, saw his computer was on fire,
Lot of
took
fires.
his t-shirt off, put the fire out and carried on working.
Yeah, and I can't remember
That was
with
the
half
kind
of
of
it
office it
melted.
was. Yeah.
Yeah.
There was I can't remember which
Health
one.
and Safety?
I can't remember who it was. It was one of the subs or one of the editors who made the terrible mistake of putting his girlfriend as a screensaver, a big picture of her, yeah.
Schoolboy,
And the second he went to lunch, different times, yeah.
No, and you said schoolboy error. That's not good. We don't like it.
Okay. He can't just make the rules. He doesn't get that, does he?
I said it in the very first episode.
Did he?
I don't think I can tell this story actually now.
Okay.
It's real. No, it's
Thank
just
God for
too
that.
wrong.
Let's move on.
No, it's really. Let's move on. Seriously.
Really?
Move on.
No, I really can't tell the story.
Okay, we'll figure out if it's listenable in a future episode. Okay, look, we are literally coming towards the end of this episode, but you both now get a chance to pick your favourite article from issue 3.
Ben?
I think Jack Barron writing about Oasis. There are several reasons why. One, Jack Barron, who can I a couple of words by the way about Jack
Yeah, there
Barron.
you go. You can.
Jack Barron was a writer for the NME who
Yes.
joined Loaded. He was a really, truly wonderful guy.
Very talented. Yeah.
Very talented, a really lovely man.
No longer
And-
with us,
And
I'm
he's no
afraid.
longer with us. He sadly passed away last year. I was in touch with him quite a bit over kind of like, emails and stuff like that. We spent a long time in hospital. Terrible, terrible shame, terrible loss to journalism. Anyway, this is, I think, before Oasis had even released their first album.
Yeah. This is the first single.
Yeah, first single. So what Jack does is Jack gets pretty much the kind of nitty gritty of now what we all understand Oasis to be. And one of the lovely things about it, let me just grab my bins because I want to read a quote from this, if that's
Yes,
all right, yeah. Is that he understands that one of the primary sort of frictions and one of the primary kind of, I would say, one of the forces, the creative forces,
energy,
is the struggle between the two brothers. Now, he
Which we
understands that
take for
before
read
this
now.
became
Yeah,
a
yeah,
story. I mean, now it is the only story. It's always what's going on between. So I want to read you, right, what Noel actually says about his brother, yeah? This is about Liam. He says, if I lived in America, I would have blown the cunt's head off by now. And
Beautiful
completely regret it, yeah? Since I live in England, I just give him the occasional black eye every now and again, yeah? He goes on to say, yeah, he doesn't do anything. He doesn't write lyrics. He doesn't play. He doesn't do an instrument. He doesn't write anything at all. So all he's got to do is just stand around being good looking, yeah? And for some reason that fucking pisses him off. And you know what? It pisses me off too.
No, that's amazing. I mean, that's literally.
That's just brilliant. No, it sums up the rest of the coverage.
So that's 1994. That's when they launched, and that's Shaker Maker was the first single,
Yeah.
right? And
I apologise.
so Chris Floyd took those photographs as well.
Yeah, Chris Floyd's an amazing photographer.
a great photographer. Nick went on to do, William and Kate and all that. He's
No,
he won't take our calls anymore, but even so,
we occasionally bump into him at parties, don't we?
we do.
And he
yes.
pretends not to know us.
Yeah, no, we do.
No, he's very nice.
he turns
actually.
up
He
at
is
the
very
loaded
nice.
Christmas lunch.
Yeah,
doesn't he?
exactly, yeah.
Yeah. So Bill, who are you going to go for here? What are you going to go for?
Well, my first big feature was in the supplement for the third issue, which was hanging out with Torino Ultras, football hooligans.
Oh yeah,
Which
the
is,
Torino.
Yeah, but at the time it was when Channel 4 had the Italian football, and it was kind of a thing. And do my Man City fanzine that I was edited just before this all happened.
There was a huge relationship between
there
Torino
was.
and Man City.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because Juventus, the United of Italy.
yes, exactly.
And
yeah.
in an inch you're in, Torino are the team.
And they're
in their
both
home
big
city.
northern industrial cities,
Yeah,
powerhouses,
yeah.
etc.
The interesting thing to differentiate between Torino had an air crash like United. Their air crash
right,
wiped
yeah.
out the entire. I think there's 11
The
members of the
yeah.
Italian team.
It was the entire Italian team.
Yeah.
They crashed into the back of Superga Church.
Superga
yeah.
Church, yeah. And that decimated. I think they've won the league once since 1976. When Gigi Moroni was playing. But because I established a connection to the fanzine, because we used to have a thing out of the shadows, big teams in cities that they'd have to share the limelight with this, the team that gathers all the glory hunters, the authentic team. And this is before the internet, really. Before, but letters and all kind of things, different loads of fans came out, loads of City fans went to Turin, vice versa. And so I had an in with the Ultras and just spent some time underground with them. It was they were playing Arsenal at the time. It was a fabulous time. It's a bit edgy.
Did they get into trouble?
Yeah, they were naughty.
Yeah.
You know, and I think in the picture that we took in for the piece, the guy had been photographed, but he had his foot on the table and the foot was hiding
Yes.
his face.
Yes.
There were,
That's right. Yeah, I remember that picture.
There were firearms knocking around and pyrotechnics. It
Mm.
was, you know, not wasn't in over my head, but it was close to it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it sounds like you probably were, actually. Every single thing we did,
Yeah.
almost.
It had edge.
Unless you were writing about greatest living Englishman from your home,
Yeah, yeah.
something. But that was nice and cozy. But most of the time, you were out experiencing something pretty special. And as Bobby Gillespie always used to say, you know, get into interesting situations. And I think that's what the whole magazine was all about.
100% it was.
Okay, guys, that is it for this episode. Wonderful.
Vapes?
To be. No, we're not doing vapes this week. Shall we? We could do.
What we got?
Okay.
Well, can I just say one thing about
I
vapes?
got one thing which I think is really funny.
Okay, you go first.
Okay, so this week's is it a trend? Is it real or is it fake? Right. So this is a Gen Z trend. Girl dinner.
We've
Girl-
got a guess, haven't we?
No, you've got to guess if this is true or
well,
not.
you've got an advantage,
Either
you
true
two.
or you've made it up.
Exactly. I've either made it up or it's a true thing. So the trend this week is girl dinner.
Girl dinner.
What does it mean?
No.
All right, okay. I'm going to say it is true because I heard the expression boyfriend jeans the other day.
Boyfriend jeans.
Boyfriend jeans.
Okay.
Well, you don't know about this?
No. What do you mean?
Fucking hell, keep up.
Come on,
You've got a
Granddad.
daughter.
I have got a daughter.
Right, okay. So my niece said, you know, oh, boyfriend jeans. And I said, what are you on about? She's 21. And she goes, they're the jeans that you wear when you jump out of bed and you put on your boyfriend's jeans. And she goes, and now there's a whole fashion of jeans that are supposed to look like your
So
boyfriend's
you're
jeans.
oversized jeans, pretty much, if girls are smaller than boys,
Yes,
generally speaking.
exactly.
Okay, that doesn't help us with girl dinner, though, does
No,
it?
not at all.
Girl dinners are real.
Okay, so
Gotta
what does
be
it
real.
mean?
It means when girls go out to dinner with one another and ignore boys.
Okay, Bill, what do you think? Does it mean?
I'm going to go with that.
Okay, fine. Well, you're both wrong.
Made it up.
It's a real viral TikTok trend, meaning low effort, no cooked meals, compromise of snacks, leftovers, picky bits. So there you go.
That sounds pretty good, actually.
Well, you know, I think, but yeah,
Oh, good on Generation Vape.
And only girls can eat it.
girl dinner.
First boyfriend
I think-
jeans and now
I think
girl
boys
dinners.
can do it as well.
Okay. What is it?
It's called girl dinner.
Girl
It's just
dinner.
basically leftovers or snacks or, you know, something you don't have to cook.
Oh, is that not sexist though, calling it girls' dinner?
Well, I think it probably is. And then,
Yeah.
so the new generation have learned nothing.
Exactly. Let's
From
call
this-
it out
all
for
this
what it
time.
is.
Yeah.
Rank
Learn-
misogyny.
Nothing.
It's awful.
Okay, so that is it. That's our Planet of the Vapes this week. That's brief, I know, but we have come to the end of our caper. Thanks,
After
guys.
5 takes.
5 takes to get going in the first week.
Oh, sorry about that, by the way.
Thanks to Ben, basically
Look,
saying
No,
everything's wrong.
Look, I could have told my Mike Tyson story, and then we would have all been in trouble.
Well,
that
you
is
will
true.
definitely get a chance to tell your Mike Tyson story.
When you're in prison.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if I tell it in prison, then I could be in even worse trouble, couldn't I?
Well, yeah.
Given the subject,
Well, yes.
given the
I'm
content.
not egging you on. Yes, go on. Don't you have something to say to the camera?
And we haven't finished yet.
Oh yeah, no, hold up.
Hang on, let me finish.
Okay.
Okay, so that's it from us. Thank you, Bill. Thank you,
you.
Ben.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that fucking notifications icon.
Over and out.
And God help us all.
And God help us all.